Welcome back to the channel, guys. In last video, I talked about my declining revenue and profit and how I essentially lost out on the biggest deal of my life. But in today's video, I will be explaining how I plan on reversing the downtrend in my business and working towards higher profitability as well as revenue. So hopefully this video is applicable to you. If not, hopefully it's just great learning for the future. But let's get into a few of the ways that I plan on getting back to and surpassing my previous profits that I made through 2020, 2021. So just to quickly set the stage for those of you who don't know, my revenue through 2020 and 2021 was somewhere in between $100,000 to $150,000. And these days I currently sit in the $80,000 to $100,000 revenue range, which isn't that bad. I mean, you could say, oh, your business is doing, a slight downturn, but that's not so bad. But the real problem here has been the profitability. So back in 2017, I was running on 40% plus margins. Every year that dropped as competition increased, fees increased, and people drove price down with new competition. However, the last couple of years have been the major hit to my my profit numbers. So basically what happened is Amazon has continually raised the fees, and in the last couple of years, they used COVID as an excuse to jack up the fees significantly. Maybe I shouldn't say it's as an excuse, maybe it's a legitimate reason. However, they've passed on all those fees to the sellers, and you either have the option of raising your price and selling less, or keeping your price consistent and making a lower margin. And then the other major player on top of Amazon's fee changes is warehouse restrictions at Amazon warehouses, causing sellers like myself to spend more in third-party warehouse fees, which for me, I was never even using one before this point. So instantly spending thousands of dollars more per month just to store goods in America before eventually sending those to Amazon fulfillment centers. So while I understand that profitability will never probably be as good for me as it was during 2017 to 2020, I still plan on boosting that back up. But the main thing I'll be focusing on is revenue, because that's a much easier thing to do in today's climate. There's more shoppers than ever on Amazon. And if I can boost my margins from where they are now, maybe another 5% up would be amazing, maybe 10%, depending on the niches that I get involved in. But overall, I'm just trying to sell more units, and if I can slightly bump up my margins, that's excellent. And I have a few ways that I plan on doing that. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about isn't actually to do with margins. So some of my problems over the last couple of years has been product quality. One of my best-selling products had a major mistake on my supplier's end. They basically killed the product, my best product, by supplying me with about $100,000 worth of fairly low-grade product. The one thing I'm really going to be focusing on is improving the product quality, even if that means having to spend more, and also just focusing on the entire customer experience. So not only do I want to improve the product itself, but I want to improve packaging, inserts, maybe some freebies or giveaways, these types of things. I want to provide customers with the best possible experience, because I believe that's what keeps customers around and builds an actual true brand, builds loyalty with your customers, these types of things that maybe weren't so important back in the day, but in today's selling climate, very important. So overall, when it comes to product quality and customer experience, I actually plan on spending more per unit. So essentially lowering my margins, but hopefully in the long term, this allows me to keep my prices higher, my reviews higher, and customers happy, and building some brand loyalty. Watching my business decline over the last 6 to 12 months has actually lit a bit of fire back in my motivation. So I've been investing a lot more time these days in researching and figuring out new creative methods to grow sales. So doing exactly what you're doing now, watching YouTube, learning from whoever I consider to be the best in the industry, and just trying to absorb as much knowledge as I can. I've spent a lot more time just reading recent news when it comes to Amazon. Amazon always puts out news releases when they introduce anything new. And so a major focus of mine has just been upping my Amazon game, because I truly want to keep leveling up my own skills. I want to focus on being a better Amazon seller, and obviously my business will benefit because of that. My YouTube channel will benefit because of that. And I've just gone from feeling like I was on top of my game and like nobody could stand in my way to somewhat falling behind in that regard. So it's been a big focus of mine. I plan on continuing to invest in my own knowledge, and I hope to be back at the top of my game shortly. And so with some of these newfound strategies and mindsets that I've picked up, I do plan on attacking higher competition niches over the next few months. I have some high revenue products that I'm about to go and enter into these markets. I have some pretty well thought out strategies and plans for how I'm actually going to do that. I will be talking about these strategies, don't you worry, but definitely want to go aggressive, invest a lot of money, and be willing to take losses up front in exchange for long-term growth. So overall, the aggression level is going up, and I'll be competing with some of the higher revenue, higher sales per month profit products that are out there. When it comes to the product that my supplier ultimately killed off, I look at the entire niche and category and still think that there's a ton of brand synergy with my existing products. And I think that even starting from scratch again at 0 reviews, I have the ability to relaunch the product, do things right from the start this time, properly inspect all the goods, and compete in that same market again. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, is relaunching that and some other products, making improvements, seeing what didn't work the first time, and learning from that and applying some new strategies. And I'm quite confident that I'll be able to re-enter these markets successfully, build up my reviews, build up my ranking, and ultimately get back to a point where I'm more profitable than I was even a year ago with those same products. Now on top of that, we're also making general optimizations across the entire store. So things that have been neglected over the years, even small things that make a 1% difference, they add up over time. And so I'm really focusing on getting the processes in place in order to have those things somewhat automated, whether that's with software, with AI, or with employees. I've actually brought on a friend of mine who has been learning nonstop on Amazon. I've been training him up, and he's going to be helping the brand over the next year. So once again, that's another investment that I'm making, but I believe it'll pay off in the long run substantially. He's currently going through all of our listings, optimizing the products, optimizing the images, filling in the certain fields that weren't filled in, just making sure everything is in tip-top shape, because these days that's really what it takes to compete in some of the markets that I'm competing in. Basically, what I've been talking about so far in this video has involved increased spend. And I know at the start of the video I talked about my margins and the need to improve those. So how are we actually going to do that? So firstly, I plan on offering higher quality products at higher prices, and that will ultimately result in higher margins. However, we're also aggressively cutting certain costs. So right now we're working on options for significantly reducing ad spend as well as logistics. I've found shipping to be coming down quite a lot in price. However, there's still opportunity to lower that even further. But the major killer for my brand over the last year or two has been 3PLs and the transportation between 3PLs and Amazon warehouses. So we're playing with the idea of completely eliminating those, maybe just getting a warehouse in China at a lower rate than what I could be paying for in America, consolidating shipments there, and then sending more frequent shipments from China into Amazon directly without all the additional costs of American 3PLs as well as inbound transportation. So that's from the 3PL into Amazon, because those have been massively messing with our margins. And so really the major focus we have in 2023 is morphing the ideology of what this brand is and changing it from strictly an Amazon brand to more of a true brand that you see in a store. So a lot of the mentality back in the day was just go by the numbers, see what's working on Amazon, launch there. You can launch random products. That was always my strategy. That's because it worked back in the day. These days, I feel like branding and relatable branding is more important than ever. So what we're focusing on is outside traffic, building social media around this brand, building synergistic products that work well with each other. If you have product A, does it work well to upsell to product B to that customer? How can you create relationships between those products and increase total spend from your customers? So we're playing with some pretty creative strategies that we'll be implementing over the next year. I'm actually super excited about it because it's something new, it's something different, and I'll be detailing it all on this YouTube channel. So those are the key areas that we really are trying to optimize this year. Like I said, it's been a frustrating past year and a half or so, but once again, looking forward to the challenge of growing this brand back up to where it should be. And I have a lot of new strategies, tips that I've picked up over the last year from a lot of research. And I want to show that it is still possible to make significant money on Amazon. It is still possible to grow a brand from scratch. And I want to take you guys along for that process. So that's really all we have for this video. We're going to get into a lot of that stuff more in future videos. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching through the entire video. I look forward to connecting with you on the next video. And as always, leave any comments. I'm happy to answer them down in the comment section below. Take care, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.